Or nights flashing, now you're lying there dead. There won't be a retaliation, got your hoes too scared. Move. I got a llama from my chopper, firing off extra rounds in the ER. Doctor, can't stop the bleeding, living here all over your chest, all red. I call my chopper super soldier. Yeah, super soldier. Bullets pick like vultures, eating up your flesh, your face green like okra. I'm a soldier boy.
Hey, what's going on, Rob, man? What's the word?
Man, I'm chilling, man. Blessed. I can't complain. I'm excited. Fresh off 16 hours straight work, no sleep. I'm excited, man.
Okay, this is episode 20, Houston Hoop Scoop, man. Hey, we bring it to y'all raw, live and direct, man. Hey, we got some special guests today, man. You know, most people know them as the Cooz moms, man. Hey, these ladies is hilarious. They're lovely, they're caring, they're kind, man, and they gonna tell you how it is. They're not gonna hold no punches ever, man. And so, Rob, you ready to bring them on, man?
Man, I'm ready, man.
Ladies, what's going on?
Hello.
Nothing much.
How y'all doing?
Good, I'm good,
We
man.
good, man. We good.
How everybody doing out there? Sounds so
We,
good, don't y'all agree?
we doing good,
Yeah.
we doing good. What's going on, Coach?
Oh,
Man, hey, so how did y'all all end up on Cooz?
ooh.
Ooh.
Who? Ashley?
I I could I'll go first. So I was on because we had left. Ruben played on Houston Hoops, the DU Houston Hoops, and we left because he was at Persian and King and D Brown. All those kids were already with, I think the team was Texas Showcase maybe. And PJ was coming back from overseas and they asked like, hey, PJ gonna come and coach and we're gonna create a new team called Cooz. And Ruben, I was undecided on, where he was gonna go, but he kind of told me I want to play with all my friends. So I was like, cool, go ahead. We'll go ahead and go play with Cooz. And that was the 8th grade summer going to the 9th grade, I think. So that's how we got to Cooz because Lee Brown, Keelan Farouk, Max, they was the ones that recruited Ruben.
Okay,
Oh,
okay,
nice.
okay.
Interesting.
All right, Miss Shantae, Miss Tanika, man, jump in
Shan-
anytime.
Oh, okay. So when I came to
Oh,
Cooley
I thought
League,
say
my son started working out with Coos at first. And so then we were with Rice Warriors, Tanika and I. We were with Rice. And so then we decided after when they were going into high school that we just really wanted to change. Because there was nothing wrong with Rice, absolutely. Shout out to Lamar Hope. But yeah, we just ended up at Cooz through workouts, and then it ended up being one summer Jahari played back and forth with both teams actually, and then the next summer it just became that was it. We were just with Cooz Elite, and so we didn't really
yeah.
at the time I wasn't. I don't think PJ was he back from overseas yet, Ash? I don't think he was. I think we were
He
working out
was
with
he wasn't. It was
no.
Gabe and Clay coaching.
Jay.
He wasn't. It was Clay, Day and Clay. They was coaching. PJ didn't come to like maybe the end of that summer or like the middle of the summer.
Yeah. And then I kind of told Tanika about Cool. And then 'cause we were all at Rice Warriors together.
Okay. Shout out Lamar Hope, man.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Well, our rights team had just kind of dismantled.
Mm.
Yeah, Lamar was great, but it just kind of fell apart for whatever reason. People just started going their separate ways, and DA was playing like fall ball with Cooz and with Clay team, so it was just natural to just roll right on into it when we no longer had a rights team.
Okay, okay. So for people who didn't know, hey, they didn't all start together. I know that's what a lot of people think that y'all all started together. They was since they was like 5, 6 years old and just all came up, played, and that's how it happened. So now everybody knows. See, we breaking ice, man. People don't know. People just assume that. I'm not from here, so I really had no clue. I just know that y'all keep it real at all times, man. That's all I know.
Too real.
We try to.
Definitely. So when after y'all all came together, like when did y'all know that that group of kids was gonna be special? Like I know as mothers, y'all like, oh yeah, that's my baby, they gonna do good. But like when did y'all look at each other like, oh, we can really go out here and kick some ass nationally?
I don't think, did we know that? I think we were caught.
I don't
We
think
were
we
caught more up in the
ever knew.
we
Never?
were caught up in the bonding of it all,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
the foundation of it all. It started out as
Mm.
being, it was kind of fun. You know what I mean? So we
Mm-hmm.
started out bonding, and then it turned into oh, we just gonna go play. And then when we saw that we were actually able to win, and then when we saw how the more that like other teams or coaches or whatever would try to dismantle our team,
Mm-hmm.
the more it drove us to kind of stick together, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the more we were
Yeah.
told
It was
what we
more the
could
boys
do,
too.
yeah, and then our boys
I
are
think
actual, they were friends before Coozy leaked his
yeah, they
book on
believed it.
basketball.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
okay.
boys actually believed in themselves. I want to say before the parents actually started verbalizing it. Like the boys all believed themselves collectively were as great as they were.
Yeah.
And I mean, we literally, PJ had us playing in like back little room, little bitty mini gyms of a middle school down in Galveston somewhere. And then we would
Really
have to run out that
bad.
gym, then we would go play in the back of the woods on a one dirt road in Louisiana. Like we just went and played wherever he told us to. And the sometimes we would be like 14U, 15U, and he would come and be like, well, y'all playing 17U this game. And we'd be like, what? But
Yeah, really.
the boys was like, we could do it. It was the boys kind of believing in themselves first. I used to kind of be like quiet and just kind of standoffish in the beginning because I didn't know which direction it was going to go. And I didn't know what type of player Ruben was going to be. So I was kind of like, I'm not really going to say too much. I'm just going to support the team and, talk to the parents and stuff like that. But as they kind of believed in what PJ and Clay and Gabe and all of them were pouring into them, even PJ parents was coming to games, and telling us like this kid is gonna be good, this kid is gonna be good, this kid is gonna be good. You hear it so much that eventually you just kind of believe it. You don't really see it. No college is calling you. Nothing is happening different for you. But because the belief was so there and it was so strong amongst the team as a whole, then it's like we poured our confidence into everybody that watched us. So that's what I think made it believable. But at first, I don't think we were thinking that.
Mm.
We didn't.
Yeah.
We was just trying to play basketball.
Real, no, seriously. Like, we had no
That's
idea
it. On our
all
chip
that.
circuit.
She said on the chilling circuit.
Chilling circuit.
On the chilling circuit, right?
Yeah, we was on the chilling circuit
Right.
for real.
And that made us go even harder.
It
Mm.
did.
It did, and it was. I don't know. It's just when you are being told constantly that you can't do something or you're not going to do something, you
Or you
don't
have
have
to
to
do
listen
this
to
and
that.
that.
That's really motivational.
Mm.
So that's just how it ended up being. We didn't expect any
Yeah.
of that. Like all this Cooz mom, Cooz elite height
I,
stuff. That wasn't. This wasn't expected.
yeah.
Okay.
At all.
We actually kind of got labeled at first as PGWs. So
Oh,
we
PG.
kind
y'all
of
was
flipped
Everybody
it.
y'all was
was at
wild
the
parents, man.
Y'all
Yeah,
did. I remember that.
yes, yes, yes. We got labeled as PGWs, but it ended up working in our favor because what we actually showed is to love your child and be that dedicated to your child and have your child like that. That's not a PGW. That's just a parent that believes in their kids' dreams, believes in what their team is doing. I'm out there working hard. Anything the coach is, y'all, we putting it together. So we weren't PGWs. It's just that we were dedicated parents, and you're just not gonna walk up to us and trash our kids or trash our program or trash us because we're over dedicated to what we believe in. That's not a PGW. We never had a fight. We never no, not saying we couldn't have that. We never had a fight. We never put your finger down.
Wasn't nobody trying to run up on y'all,
We
man.
Oh no.
man, no, some people did try to run up on us, but
Oh,
Oh
but
wow.
but we just never it wasn't that side of us. It was more so we just stay together and we go through everything together. And we kept it in house. It wasn't we just kept it all in house.
okay. Chantel, you act like you
Later,
was in
let me just
school. I seen
give that
you was trying to
disclaimer
put
out
your
I
there.
hand
just
up. You
um
was trying to give us the Baptist finger. What's going on over
no,
there?
I just was thinking about the whole we never had a fight, but you mean like with other people?
Oh, Miss Shantae got
Just
something to
plead
Well,
say.
the
you
fifth. Plead the fifth, sis. Let's move on to the next question.
Next
Yeah, let's just pass on.
the thing about this though, let me say this. Because I have to just say that we were labeled as the Cooz moms, but there are some moms out there that are Cooz moms that y'all don't know, and they are still like
Right.
they're just not as active like on Twitter and stuff like that. But yeah, it's some other
Right.
Cooz moms
Well,
out
well,
there.
tell us who they is. Shout them out. Give them a shout out. Shantae,
No,
who
I
they is?
am. I'm shouting them out. Like who? I didn't because I don't want to leave anyone out. That's why I didn't. Because
I
it was
got
like
You
because
can
I
go
wasn't
through the whole
I was
team.
nowhere near like an original. Like I said, I came from Rice Warriors. So Cooz had actually formed, and then we went to being Team Sims for a very short minute, very hot, ridiculous minute.
Second,
That ended.
yes.
Thank the Lord. And so,
That did ended. Came and
yeah,
went.
thank the Lord. And
Yeah.
so, girl, wasn't that a mess? Y'all, we were in a shootout
The hot man.
in Atlanta. No, it wasn't us. Let me rephrase. Let me relay that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a tournament in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one we were Team Sims, and we came back and we were Cooz Elite. Like that was it. But
Mm.
we were at a tournament in Atlanta, and we were at the school. And all I know is that it was some younger kids playing in the gym over, and all you saw were people just running through the gym where we were, like running through our game. Like we had a game
Right.
going, I was running through there like ducking, going crazy. So then after that, when we went into the parking lot, the police just had the whole parking lot surrounded. I was like, see, those are PGW.
Yeah. Oh, that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
something
that
like that
wasn't
just happened
us.
in Ohio, where a dad or a
Right.
parent, shot the coach because he wasn't playing his daughter enough or whatever the reason
Was
was.
it deeper than that though?
I think it was.
Y'all know AAU people sleep around like like what was going on?
Yeah. And so with that being said, for it's a lot of parents who watch and they ask us to touch certain topics, like the younger parents. So what is some good, bad, and ugly things about AAU that you guys could share with some of these parents who may not have no clue at all?
Ash, do you want to start with that one?
Yeah, you some good, bad, and ugly. So some of the ugly is trying to decide what team to play for, what position your kid is gonna play, especially when you have a kid who plays kind of positionless, or either maybe the tallest kid on the team and they have to play five, but they're actually a guard. When you're looking for a team, like you really need to look for what benefits your kid. And it's AAU. You're paying for it, even if it's sponsored. If it's sponsored, you're good enough to be on one team, you should be on another one. So, you need to look for what benefits your child. I'm not gonna sacrifice my child for anyone's program or anyone's, you know, anything. You have to do what's beneficial to your child. You don't have to go rant and rave into the coach. It's a million teams out there. Just go find the one for your kid. That's the thing a
Mm,
lot of parents don't want to do. You hear Cooz Elite, you hear Houston Hoops, you hear Defenders. My baby should play with them. Maybe your baby shouldn't. Maybe your baby should play for the team where the coach loves your kid, is willing to let your kid play through their mistakes, willing to develop your kid, willing to help your kid the entire way versus what you see everybody else doing. Because what I saw everybody else was doing did not say Cooz Elite at all. But
mm,
when Ruben was put into the program, I saw all the additional trainings. I saw PJ calling me on weekends, like, why y'all not here? Or why he's not here? Do you need somebody to come pick him up? Or where you at? He got to spend a night here to make sure he's here the next day. You gotta work. Somebody gonna go by the house and pick him up. So um you you're right, just like Keisha is saying, your loyalty is to your child, and that comes
that's
along
it.
with selecting the program for your kid, the coaches who are going to coach your kid, and even with everything that you teach a kid, is your loyalty is to your child, not really to that program. It just so happened that that program works for me and my child, so that's why we was able to pour all our loyalty into one spot.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Now, for me, I think that with like how Ash. Okay, so when we first started basketball, period, and I tell everybody this story, but it was really to build relationships. So I wasn't,
Hmm.
I didn't, and Ashley didn't, I didn't know like how Ash can say, oh, like even though I'm a basketball fan, right? Old school though, like this new school stuff, I don't know, but anyway, when they talk about the like Ash can say, oh, he played the 1, the 5, the this, the that. I may know the one, but when you start getting into all that, he over here now. I wasn't really familiar with all that because I started to build a relationship. So then I didn't even know the difference in the divisions of the schools. When I got on Twitter a few years ago, that's when I started seeing like all this fuss because I was like, I just wanted to pay for college. I was just thinking
Hmm.
college after a certain age. I wasn't thinking the divisions and all that kind of stuff. So then after watching so many tweets and all that, that's when I saw, okay, all right, here we go, D1, D2, all that kind of stuff. So I really didn't know. And so then my thing to parents, so it honestly, it has all been fun for me. And I'm gonna say because I didn't, it becomes ugly when you chase the wrong thing.
Right.
So if you chase circuits, you're gonna stress yourself out. And not saying that your kid isn't good enough to be on a circuit. Whatever any parent does for their kid, to each his own. I don't tell people what to do with their children. But for me, It was never about what was free. It wasn't about my son is good, so I'm not paying monthly dues. And then when I paid dues, it wasn't like, okay, where y'all money going? I need to know where every penny going. As long as we were in
Right.
tournaments and we were competing, I didn't concern myself with the wrong thing. So you have to be willing to spend money, because even when you hear, and this is from parents talking, so this is from a parent's perspective. So when you hear them say, oh, this is free, oh, that's free, we're going to give you shoes, backpacks, why would you make a decision based on shoes or backpack or free travel? Why not make the investment if you can, so that you can benefit from it later? And I know that it gets expensive, so I'm not saying that parents are rich, but we did do what we had to financially. Ashley was washing and drying uniforms. And we're gonna talk about it now, because baby Hicks show put us on blast about that. Ashley had washed and dried some uniforms so the other grade level age group could play in them and all that kind of stuff.
To wear them the same day.
We didn't get all our uniforms in, but you got to make the necessary sacrifices for your kids. So if you're steady looking for free, you're gonna come up short a lot of the time. You are. And I'll just say that a lot of what glitters is not gold. Like, so a lot of that free stuff that we were hearing about, I know when our kids were in it, we would hear, okay, this team is sponsored, but everybody get to Vegas and you got 17 kids piling up in one room. Well, I know that ain't gonna even make me happy for my son to have to sleep like that and then go run up and down a basketball court. So you are gonna have to want to spend some money. And just because your kid is good, your kid could be the best on the team. Don't try to bully the coach with your good kid. You know what I'm saying? AAU is all jacked up. Like, don't be coming in and like, oh, my son, oh, he jumping out the gym. He this, he that. So we, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know what I mean? Because it's like that doesn't matter. Either you're going to play basketball or you're not. But you have to be willing to invest in your own kids so you don't have to spend money right now. So chasing circuits is good. The exposure is wonderful, but it's a contradiction, because you'll hear people say, you need the circuit for exposure. Then you'll hear them say, well, if they good, you're going to find them. So are you coming to find me, or do I need to get on this damn circuit? You know what I mean? So that's why if I was as a parent, I'm not gonna say if I was as a parent, you can't focus on the outside noise and don't pay attention to what someone else's kid is doing, because you'll be distracted, and so that's what but the good thing for AAU for me mostly was being a part of Cooz Elite because of the foundation. It was a strong foundation when you look at PJ's parents and stuff like that. So it was more than just about basketball. It was really about building relationships and things like that. So my thing is, don't chase circuits and quit consulting with everybody. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, quit asking everybody how your kid is doing. Even if it's okay to trust one opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to know, because then it becomes too much confusion for you. And then what do as a parent? You naturally go with the person that's telling you what's good, right? You're not gonna go with the person that's telling you, I mean, he getting by, but every time he gets to the rack, he's smoking the layups. Like, maybe instead of working on all that, he need to work on the basics. So it's like, I didn't have a bad moment in AAU. Honestly, I want to say the good, the bad, and the ugly, but the ugliest for me was Team Sam. Like, I ain't like how old dude was lying and stuff. Other than that, I mean, I had fun. It was a blast for me. But just don't be tripping on having to pay for something. And then don't, just because you pay $125 a month or $250 a month, don't be bothering no coach about where the money going. As long as you playing in tournaments, go sit down. But hey, I'm not trying to tell nobody what to do with their kids. Yeah. I'm just saying it's too much. It
No,
is.
it is. It is.
Nika.
What you think, Nika?
Hold on.
Girl, wait, it's on
She
mute.
got technical difficulties. What's going on, sis?
Don't be getting up with that Teddy Riley Wi-Fi.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. Fix it, Jesus. I can't see y'all. Can y'all see me?
PJ, we not cursing. You
Oh.
gotta take that off
PJ said,
I had to
"Watch
mute
your
my mic.
mouth."
I'm in a place
Oh,
of business, so
God.
it's loud.
That's the quickest way to get me first.
He the ugly. The good, the
PJ.
bad, the ugly. PJ. That's
You
the
can take
ugly.
my
But
phone
no,
because I'm
he
on
pretty much said everything.
So PJ used to take your phone.
No cursing.
No, he threatened to.
Not mine. I'm good.
Yeah, he would tell us like, get off Twitter for 24 hours. Get off Twitter for like 48 hours. Like he would like threaten us, like you bet not tweet like the next 48 hours. You like went off on Twitter. Hit me. I don't want to hear. I don't want to see nothing. You bet not. Drive to your house and take your phone. And then he even called Ruben one day. Ruben, go downstairs and take your mama's phone. Like, so yeah.
Oh.
Mine was a whole bunch of
But no,
threats where he
if he felt
promised
like
he gonna take my.
somebody kind of deserved what they was getting, he would just let us go, and then he'll be like, "Okay, y'all, that's enough."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Y'all had one. I ain't gonna bring up no names, but y'all had an infamous one where y'all went on like a 2 or 3 day straight rent, and then he was like, "All right, that's enough."
He said, "Tanika got it."
When we went on a 2 or 3 day rent.
I mean,
well, actually, yes,
yeah.
Miss Shante, y'all went this one
So I tell
situation.
you probably did it a week though.
You probably went like 5 days, Miss Shante.
Exactly. That's right.
Miss Shante, don't get on here and act like you don't know what I'm talking about now, because I ain't trying to bring up no name.
You went a whole week. I went
the
2
man
days
name
in. You went a
is
whole week.
Well, you know we're here.
the man name is J.E. His initials is J.E. And you
child, let me tell you.
Oh, please don't bring that up, Rob.
She act like she
mentioning it.
She act like she ain't know what I was talking
don't even
about.
mention it.
Here's the thing.
Don't.
Rob.
Oh Lord, I started.
No.
Here's the thing with that, and this is why I try to tell all of my parents to pay attention to who you allow to coach your children, because even though character is everything to me. That's first of all. A person's character is so important on so many levels. And it speaks. So all of this ready to take credit for people's children once they've advanced to this certain level, or you want to name who you used to train that's now in the NBA. Okay, well, we still have kids back here that need to get there. So continue to do that. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need to hear, because this ain't your city, bro. Like, my thing is, and these ain't your kids. They forget that. The thing about it, you call people kids, your kids. Now, if you've taken care of them and if you fed them, because you do have those parents that abandon their children to coaches. I've seen it and I've witnessed it, and that's fine. But why does it have to be so public? You know what I mean? Like, why can't it be private? Why does everyone need to know that you did this or you did that? I loaded up a whole van and took everybody to McDonald's.
So, What that mean? You want credit for what?
I'm just saying,
Like
and
that's what I'm.
that was a good thing. I'm not saying no one is appreciative. I'm saying, but we out here in Twitter land, we don't have to know that. You know what I'm saying? Why does everybody have to know everything that you do for a person? And I don't mean to keep referencing PJ, y'all, because I really don't like him. But I've never seen him do that. You know what I mean? Like I've never seen him go there with these kids. You know, he congratulates them and he's moved on. You know, but I've never seen him just take all this credit. And that's another reason why parents, you have to be careful with who your kids train with. Cause you know, one workout and you know that's their kid, you know, they're the reason for the season. You know what I mean? And I don't have time for stuff like that. Like it's very important.
So that's one good thing about that's like one good thing about PJ. It's so much stuff like behind the scenes that PJ has done for like kids that are non-Cooz, kids that he knew from the forge, from when his parents back in the day, he's helped. And like it's so much like behind the scenes, like we can go as far as saying like legal stuff, housing situations, just caring for kids. And he's not asking for anything in return. And keep up with the cell phone, keys, will come, no gas in the car. Like, bro, what is you doing? You know, but he'll give you that one pair of shoes he got on with his toe hanging out. You can have him. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter to him. He'll just
give
he didn't care. So
you know we don't see him do that. Give somebody his shoes and walk around
and then just put on somebody else's shoes. They be too little, too big. He like, well, I gotta run up and down the court with the kids. I ain't got no shoes.
Oh, he needs them. Now be all right.
Yeah, he in the gym coaching, no shoes on, training, no shoes on. But that's him as a person. He'll give you his last. Him not walking around with no haircut. I thought, hey, let me give my boy a haircut. No, my boy don't want a haircut because that's him. He just, it's face value. He is what he is. So it means a lot as a parent when you see a person willing to sacrifice everything they have. Him, his wife, they kids think that they siblings and cousins to all of our kids. So when you have those type of relationships, you can't do anything but respect them as a family. And that makes you want to be a part of something greater. You want to do greater because you have those people pouring into you. So that's why.
Because we ain't have no money. You gotta pay to have that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we ain't have no money. Broke. I was on unemployment when I came to Cooz.
It was a struggle now.
I was broke. I was as broke as PJ was. I was like, let me wash some uniforms. Let me ride some kids around. Let me whatever I gotta do to make it. Let me sell some fish plates. Sold 45 fish plates. Let me sell some fish plates. Whatever it takes, I can do all that. But when I came into, I knew where my money needed to go. So that's part of going through something with somebody, learning and evolving with them, and you respect what they have going on. So that was part of our.
Let's be clear. Our children had options to go other places. So this was definitely a choice. You know.
Absolutely.
Oh no, they definitely it was definitely a lot of pulling to trying to pull and pry to different places.
They had options.
Oh yeah. I want to ask y'all, and we ask this a lot to parents of recruitable athletes, student athletes. How involved were y'all in the process of the recruitment of y'all sons?
Ashley, you want to go first?
So, I was very, very, very involved to the point that So some coaches would even tell me like, really ask the really hard questions. I asked questions that were personal questions for Ruben. I asked questions on what Ruben wanted to do in the future beyond college. I asked questions on um shut up. I asked all kinds of
You get on my
questions
nerves.
because I wanted to I was trying to get a feel at a coach. You know, I was looking for something in the coaches. So I wanted to get a feel. So the ones that kind of like brush me off or half answered or whatever, those I didn't really deal with those schools. And then the ones that like I'm big on going to other kids who've been to the school and other parents who, you know, kids play for the coach and asking them about their experience. Not saying that that's going to be my experience, but even if that coach did something wrong in that experience, I want to be able to go back to that coach and say, hey, kid ABC, you did this. I don't think that was a very appropriate response. If my kid was in that situation, I would not tolerate that from you. Like, what have you done to either change that behavior or, you know, do something different? So I had coaches to tell me, you know, what they would do different or how they regret certain situations. So for me, I was very, very, as hands-on as I was with Cooz and at Yates, I took that to the college. Literally, I can call any North Texas coach at a drop of a dime, anytime. They're going to answer, they're going to respond. Me and Maddie B, we get into it, we argue, we call each other, time about we don't call me back, I'm not going to call you back. Then the next day we call each other back. You know, like, but that's because I am who I am, face value. I'm kind of, this is who I am. I'm not going to change that. So I had to look for the school that not only was willing to accept Ruben, but that was going to accept Ruben mama too. Because we're a package deal. It's a 2-for-1.
This nigga went away. I also tell to answer the question. You know. So my process was different. So but like I told you, I wasn't into the positions and playing on the court and all that kind of stuff. So every school that I went to, because first of all, you have to know your child. That's first of all, and the environment that they could function in. So whereas you may want your kid to go to this huge, large, nice, beautiful school, can they function in those environments? So,
right.
For instance, TCU, Jahari had an offer from TCU for the people that thought he went way to Seton Hall because no one in Texas was interested. Shout out. But for TCU, I looked at the campus and it was actually big, you know, beautiful. Y'all know what TCU looked like. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking to myself, the environment. So I wanted to know the professor to student ratio. And for me, I was like, because I know the attention span, you know, he need to be able to ask a question or two. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's too much going on, you know, some colleges will have those auditorium. And so you can get kind of lost in that. So I was looking at all of that. So when I narrowed it down, it came out to, which was crazy, was out of Butler. And and we went to Minnesota, huge, beautiful, you know, but I was thinking, okay, you hear all this stuff about practice, training, weight, you got to walk 5 miles to go to this class. You just have to know your child and know how they can succeed. And then, so when it came down to Butler and Seton Hall, both campuses are really small. So real small. The professor to student or student to professor ratio is like 14 to 1, 13 to 1 or something like that. And so then I met with the academic coordinator because I needed to know what we were hearing all this stuff about. They're going to have workouts, weights, training. Okay, do they just have any type of assistance academically? And so then they were able to provide me they were showing me examples of like spreadsheets that they had where they had the basketball players' schedules and their classes and how they were reaching out to the teachers and just telling me their processes for completing classwork or helping them stay on track. So then after that, I said, okay, I had to figure out how academics could meet sports. So but Jahari talked to the coaches. Now he did have that conversation. Like Ashley's real knowledgeable of like the position she wanted to play and all that kind of stuff. He's one of those kids that actually watch like the hardwood classes on NBA TV and all that kind of stuff. So he studied basketball, so he knew the system he could play in and stuff like that. So I actually let him talk basketball. I never knew what a minute would be, how many shots he would get up, if he would get on. I didn't know that stuff. And the approach, like I say, but you handle your child how you want to handle your child. So it's just all different. Right. So to me, there's no wrong way you do what works for you. But it's just that I didn't want it to be how they'll say, oh, don't worry about that. If they good, it'll get taken care of. No, I want my child to know how to write papers, form complete sentences. When this is over, and it will be over, those coaches, they have educations. How do you think they have those jobs? You know what I mean?
Yes,
exactly. And it was all about, and I taught them not to get too attached to just the coach that recruited you, but know everybody, the managers, the staff, build relationships, because you never know when you're going to need to communicate with those people. So don't go in there, just, you're a student athlete and you need to behave that way. So the thing is, when they was having those games and then they would catch a flight, let's say Butler is in Indianapolis. So they would fly there, catch a flight there. Then as soon as the game was over, they back on the flight back to New Jersey, not getting back to New Jersey till maybe like 2 a.m. to their places. And then having to get up for the coach to take a COVID test. Then there was a schedule for getting taped. And then there's a schedule for getting training, and then class, and then this and that.
And class.
So you have to know the environment that your kid can actually function in. It looked good to say they went to this university and that university. It looks good for Twitter, but you see what's going on now. When you pick a school because the gym is nice, now the kids that are in the transfer portal, can't nobody take the gym with them. You know what I mean? So you just have to make it make sense for your kid. And that's another thing with staying off Twitter, and quit trying to put on and let Hicks and Sloan and everybody do what they go do. Like, don't be coming, you know what I mean? Like, I used to have to limit me and Sloan's little arguments back and forth and stuff. It was like, whereas I was half the time just being petty,
right?
Kind of stuff. And you just have to know what works for your child. And I knew that my son was not going to be okay with waking up and walking a mile to class and then hurrying up and walking another mile back to the training room to get taped, and then over here to, you just have to know your child. And then can they deal with
and
work?
I never asked basketball questions. Like, how long is Ruben gonna play? I didn't ask those questions in recruitment. Like, how many minutes you think he gonna get, coach? How many? I did ask if he was going to have the opportunity. Like, do you think as a freshman, do y'all allow a freshman to have an opportunity? So I did ask that question, but I didn't ask like, oh, do you think he'll be able to play like 10 minutes or 5 minutes? Because the one thing I knew about Ruben is if you give him the opportunity, he's gonna play. And so I just would only ask, like, will he have the opportunity to show, that he can play? And they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna give him the opportunity because we kind of need him to come in playing. And then some schools was like, no, we want him to redshirt this year, and then next year. And I was like, nah, because in Ruben's head, I had trained him that you get to play basketball because you're making good grades. So now we go to college, you're not playing basketball, you're redshirting, you're still doing all the training and everything, but technically you're not on the court. I was so concerned about what the grades were going to look like. So I was like, nah, I kind of need him because the correlation is he gets to play because he's making the grade. So I was really fearful of that. So every school that wanted us to redshirt, I was like, no, we'll just step down a level and just, go where we
And
think we'll have a
it
better
does go hand in hand. Like you have to make the grades. You have to do it. And you have people that'll help you or whatever, but as a parent, I don't want somebody doing too much because they're young men.
right.
So they have to learn how to function. And like I said, there are so many men who, once they're done with basketball, I see it. They don't know how to. Now it's like, so now what do I do? As far as not even career wise, but just in holding a conversation. You know what I mean?
Right.
The conversation can be difficult sometimes. So it's just that you have to really you really have to pay attention to that kind of stuff as far as where education meets sports. Everybody wants their kids to be a star, but everyone's not going to the NBA. And there's so much money out there. It doesn't have to reside strictly, where the money resides. It doesn't have to strictly to be in like on the court. You know what I mean? So you have to look at that kind of stuff and make decisions based on that. And so that's what I would tell parents in recruiting. Like, because coaches, let me tell you, if your kid is doing well in high school, they're ranked in the city, they all that, then the coaches are gonna, in their minds right then, in that recruitment process, they are gonna get to play, right? But once you start, it's contingent upon how they do in practice, if they gonna really touch the floor.
Right.
So then that's where it becomes that
How much
conversation
the
of
coach
what coach lied to
Right.
you. They technically,
No.
what they were seeing in high school, he was gonna be getting it in. But now he in college, he don't even know how to run and play. So now he don't have to sit over here with the coach right now. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of stuff that and then like with transferring and stuff like that. And for my parents, I'm not telling anyone what to do with their kids, but I'm not big on transferring strictly because you didn't get to play. If I see that you didn't give your 100%, like my son can't come to me and say, "Me and coach ain't playing me," but when I saw you on TV, you was walking, you weren't even playing defense. Like, what was that? Why? So fix that and then come talk to me. You know what I mean? You can't coddle these kids like that. Because that ain't how the world works. Like if I get mad at one hospital right now, I can go apply for some other jobs, but who's to say I can't just jump up and run all around? That ain't how the world works. So I say go hard and take your minute.
So I felt a little different about transferring before I actually made it to college. I was like, kids transferring because they're not getting the opportunity to play and this, that, and the other. But after being in it, I'm like, he needs to transfer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I now have a different viewpoint on kids transferring. Like, some of them transferring because they cannot go back. Some of them are transferring because they'll never have the opportunity at their school. It doesn't matter what they do. Just because the coach and the player are not a fit. It's kind of like you'll never get that promotion because they don't like you. You know what I'm saying? If they don't like you, they just don't like you. Or they feel like, yeah, you do all your work, but I mean, that's mediocre. We want you to go above, and that might not be, you might be giving them above, but that above is not enough for them. So I had now I feel very different about transferring, especially when my coach, it was rumored that my coach was going to like other schools, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, you don't follow our coach. You know what I'm saying? So, we finna transfer. Yeah, I was so happy he got out that transfer portal. I was like, get out the transfer portal. And then I hate whenever like they were saying like
girl.
Girl, advance it by being there with us. We're gonna help you advance it. Don't go nowhere. But because I am really
You
big on
can Mr.
stability.
Man.
I'm really big on stability and everybody kind of staying the same. So I didn't want him to leave because I knew if he left, there was a strong possibility that either we might follow him or, go to another school. And it's not following a coach. It's not necessarily that being what it is, but sometimes that's the coach that pulled the best out of you. That's the coach that believe in you. These coaches are being paid so much money. They have to have faith in these players. So if you get a new coach and he don't have no faith in you, you don't know him, you don't have a relationship, what you gonna do? Sit on the bench. Oh, yeah, you're gonna sit on the bench. So with sitting on the bench, like you just that can, take a kid confidence as well as you just transferring is real sticky. I just tell everybody and transferring, do what's best for your kid. Do what's best for your kid, not the coach, not the school. Again, it does not change the narrative from AAU to college. Do what's best for your kid. You have to look for your kid. So if you're transferring your kid for the betterment of your kid, do that. And that's just what I think.
She had to get off. Thank you.
Yeah.
If she don't, I'll tell y'all her secret when we not on live.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wish I could have got her perspective on this because the Avian actually did get in the transfer portal, and he did transfer from College of Charleston to Longwood University. I'm I got y'all on. I'm gonna ask two questions: one about college, one about high school. So since we got y'all on the show, as parents, how do y'all feel about rankings and evaluators? Like, what do y'all think about that? I want to know. I know, Miss Shantae, I know you're very candid about this. So I really want to hear what y'all think about the rankings and all
that. Here's the thing. Rankings matter until they don't. And when I say that, I'm saying that they mattered while I'm speaking for myself, while we were here. It does, regardless of how Hicks feel or how Sloan feel or how anyone feels, it's still coaches that are not in the city, that are not in the state, that go there first to say, just to get an idea, and sometimes they don't go all the way down. I mean, it's just the way it is, not saying that it's right. Now, when I say they matter until they don't, it's because right now at Seton Hall, they absolutely don't matter. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like whatever Jahari did before he got to college, it was helpful to get him there. So I'm appreciative for that and the people that played a role in that. But it just is not playing a factor right now. Now we're on a whole nother level and it's a whole nother situation. But it's not something that should matter to the point where it causes the type of confusion that it has caused. I don't think that if let's say, I don't think we should be approaching Sloan or Hicks in the gym. I just keep saying Sloan and Hicks because that's people I have always bothered so much. But in the gym and saying, how you put my son in number 37 and you put such and such a number 15? My son better than him. What you mean? He talking about my son ain't better than him. That gets to be too much because first of all, your kids hear that and it's their opinion. You know what I mean? They can feel how they want to feel. Sloan has played the game, has experience in their level, and so on their level, so he's looking at it from his perspective. Hicks, and he's given that before. Hicks looks at it from, or Doug, looks at it from their perspective. So like me, I'm a defense person. You know what I'm saying? So let's say if I was into rankings, I don't care how you score. If somebody's scoring just as many buckets on you, you ain't locking up. I ain't talking about you. My list will look totally different. I'm laying down to that right now. My favorite basketball player is like Hakeem Olajuwon. Jordan is all that, but my number one is Hakeem Olajuwon. Like, I'll take that to my grave. So I'm saying it to say that rankings matter until they don't. You know what I mean? And that's just all it is. Now I did if like when Jahari was able to go to the top 100. Well, if he was number 47, they probably, he wouldn't have been able to fill that spot. And I think it was because someone else didn't get. It's not like he was even selected. I ain't gonna cap about it. It ain't like when they first did choices, they were like, oh, we got to have Jahari Long. No, that wasn't it. I think spaces became available, and then it became a meeting, and it was said, okay, who else? Oh, call Jahari Long. So it was like that. We ain't gonna front like, oh, we in this thing and you not. No, it was a situation. So but they had to see that name. They didn't go to number 47 in the city, and I'm not dissing whoever number 47 was. I do not know. I'm not dissing nobody. Let me just put that out there. I am not doing anything like that. I'm just saying in certain aspects, it puts their name out there. You know what I mean? It helps them just get a little bit more recognition. So, but it doesn't mean that you have to base. It matters in that aspect. It shouldn't matter to, oh, I'm ranked number 47. I'm gonna go out here and take 68 shots and make 12 just so I can score 24, because they need to understand I get buckets. Like it shouldn't affect how you work on your game and develop as a player. And it does. It does. That's why we have all this dribbling and going by somebody and all this stuff that go on right now. It's just all for rankings and highlights. So I think it matters until it doesn't matter. I think it plays a part, but you don't want to be like, when parents say it don't matter, I think they mean it in a sense of, well, some parents are angry. Yeah, they angry. And then some are just like, because you see people that's not ranked at all. Like, who were they tweeting about? Like Steph Curry and all those people who went to the small college or something like that. They weren't even, some players didn't even start playing basketball to the 11th grade. And you hear those stories all the time. So those are very inspiring. That's all I'm saying. It just shouldn't affect your game. You shouldn't see the rankings and say, wait till we go play such and such. I swear I'm going for 30.
But
that's
what people do though.
Yeah, and
that's
really
what people do though.
And that's when they'll be.
Yeah, they do that.
I'll be out there with the whole.
I know a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of people that hold that value in rankings like that. I mean, to me, rankings were. Yeah, rankings is important to me for recruiting. Did I charge up people about rankings? The only person I ever charged up was Salome, because Salome was starting
team rankings because he kept ranking the defenders ahead of Cooz Elite, and they never beat Cooz
Okay,
Elite.
so that's why.
Team rankings.
Okay, I can say this now. So let me just say this now.
But
the only thing I ever charged Salome with. No, wait. The only thing I ever charged Salome with was Jalen Rubin shared the number 8 spot. Make one of them 8, make one of them 9. It's not a tie. That's what I didn't understand. I was like, bro, it's like a 1 through 11. Like, that's childish. I used to tell him, like, you doing it to piss me off. Hell, make Rubin 9. You know what I'm saying? Make Jalen 8. I didn't care. Just don't put a tie. It's no such thing as a tie, bro. Like I used to like call him and like charge him up. Like I'm not lying, y'all. Like I really would go in on Salone. Like, bro, you real child. I think you being petty. Like you doing this to like really piss me off. Like I want to say Ruben and shit number 8 spot with somebody else. Like that's crazy to me. It's enough numbers for everybody to have their own number. So he was like, no, Ash. They're like the same kind of player. They're like, I was like, bro, and not the same kind of player. Stop. Number one. Number two, bro, it's because he a defenders. You just trying to make sure all your defenders stay in 1 through 10. Like, bro, we not finna have them together. And then the only thing that happened that changed his rankings was Jalen did not play high school ball 1 year. And that's what made him leave Ruben at 8 and move Jalen like under Ruben. But I was very upset about that because he was the only person with a tie. Like, you know, that was like, what? But rankings are important. Especially to the high school kids, because a lot of colleges don't know our kids. They don't know our kids in the city. So when they do reach out to a Salone or a Hicks or Ball So Hard or somebody, they all gonna say, man, who y'all 1 through 10 in the city? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I want my kid to be 1 through 10. You know, just so that I can be on that coach radar. We got a lot of recruitment activity. It was recruited by everybody in Texas. We got a lot of recruitment outside of Texas, and it just at least put us on some type of recruitment list to give a question to think about offering us something. You know, so to me, rankings are important when you're in a recruiting phase. Now, going into college, don't nobody care what you ranked. We could have threw the ranking away once we signed. It didn't even matter no more. It don't matter. Because guess what? Everybody else on our team, even the kids that came from JUCO, they was ranked number 2 in their city. They was ranked number 5 in their state. So we all there together. You know what I'm saying? And so it loses its value. I'm sorry, Keisha, for rocking so much. That's a habit in this chair. But it loses its value once the kids make it to college. Like, I can't mention Ruben ranking to a college coach. Like, he was ranked 8th in the city, so y'all not gonna let him start? No, no.
Right. He was in he was in the 8th grade.
Right.
He was all
right. Yeah, it didn't even matter. And I never worried about ranking before high school. I only was concerned about him making sure he was ranked in high school. Because it was kids that was on the 5th grade ranked list when we had rankings, and some of those kids didn't even get offers in our class. You know, so I didn't worry about that. I think high school rankings are very important, you know, but not those middle school, elementary. Ruben wasn't ever on anybody's radar or ranking until high school, and I saw what it is.
Let me tell you guys a funny story though. When I think Jahari's like in the 7th grade, and Coach Lamar told me, the only reason I was on Twitter was, so you remember how they used to do the Black History Month shoes? You get in line on Twitter, get your ticket, because they were selling out. That's the only reason I got on Twitter for Jahari. So Coach Lamar told me, oh yeah, Jahari got a write-up. So I was like, a write-up? So I was like, okay. I went and looked in the Houston Chronicle. I went and pulled up the Chronicle. So I'm talking about, and I was like, Coach Lamar, look, I didn't see no write-up. I was looking in the Chronicle, you know. I did not know who Hicks. I didn't know anything about that stuff. And so then somebody's like, you don't know Hicks when you see him in gym, because he's the man with the hats and all this kind of stuff. So that's how, and somebody pointed them out to me one day at Episcopal, but I had no idea what a write-up was. And I think it's just actually, I think it's up to parents to manage how their kids respond to that. You know, because we manage how our kids respond to the negativity. You know, I'm always pointing it out. Like, you see 1 minute, because you have to show your kids 1 minute they love you, here the next minute they don't. It's nothing special about you. You know, you ain't a prized possession in nobody's life but your mama's and your dad's. That's it. Nobody loves you. But other than that, you just have to pour into your kids so they are not distracted by that, because it's entertainment. And it's entertainment. It makes for great conversation. Dre McDonald. I think it just
Dre, my boy.
I know, don't you love Dre? He is so funny. But it makes a great conversation. But I think that
some really heated.
But I do think that it starts with parents. Because I am the first, if Child Jahar saw himself ranked at number 40 and went out there and took 35 shots trying to score big 50 million shots, I would have, y'all would have saw PGW. Because I don't play that. Like, you don't let that dictate how you play. You still have to develop as a player. You got to do it, or you'll get exposed.
PJ, Ruben is not soft. Ruben is not soft, PJ. Step off, PJ. That was one of the things that PJ always got on Ruben about. He was like, he didn't have enough dog in him. Like, you're not a dog. He's still not a dog. So, he just Ruben. But he's gonna play hard.
Dogs. What are these?
Yeah,
dogs?
He's not a. Yeah, he's not one of those kind of players. They kind of dug Ruben as well.
They're trying to they raise these children to be so aggressive and so crazy on the court, and that translates off the court.
It does. Yeah, it does. I never wanted Ruben to be the dog. I always wanted him to be who he was, and
maybe that's he being aggressive. We gotta find another word, y'all. Dog ain't gonna get it.
Yeah, I don't like dog.
It's an endearing term, though, Miss Shante.
No, I seen a coach text back and say, "We have enough thugs on our squad." Thugs, dogs, bros. No, that's not my kid. My kid is just, he gonna go out there and play basketball the right way. He gonna go and do what he needs to do, and he gonna come off the court and sit on the bench, twirling his hair. I say much, and that's it. But if you go out there, he gonna twirl in his hair. That's a hot mess. But that's just my kid. He's not the dog. He's not a dog. But if you tell him you need, he gonna try to. Hence the name. Leave real PJ. Come on, bro. You always in on my boy. So boy, that's why PJ
on the busted lip video. On the busted lip video, he called him Renisha. When he said he finally got a busted.
Right. That's why. Because he say Ruben is soft, and now he always tell me, you playing like a girl. That was like PJ ongoing thing for Ruben. And I just was like, but playing like a girl got him ranked 8th in the city. Come on, bro. It must be a whole bunch of babies behind him then. Like, if he playing like a girl, then what everybody else? So we on PJ just always messing with him. Trying to make him more aggressive on the court, and that's just really still not him. I think he just plays his own little game, how he plays it. That's why, to me, making sure I found the school that was willing to play with what he had to offer versus trying to say, well, we got him here, he's not aggressive enough, or he's not a dog enough, he's not thuggish enough, or he's not hood enough. He's not none of that. And so I just wanted them to, that's why it was important for me to talk to coaches to see, like, what are you going to pull out of him? I do know he needed to be a little more mature. I do know he needed to develop his game more in certain areas, but I don't think you're going to get a dog ever. You might get level. Not a dog. Like, our kids are not dogs. They're not.
No. All of them, all kids ain't, man.
Nah.
And it's okay. It's okay.
I just think it's certain, but you can still play with a certain skill level and not be
right.
Because then they get that in their head, and then they ain't even moving their feet on defense. They just growling and just reaching and fouling. Like, the infamous clapping, you know, that whole thing. What's all that?
Yeah, clapping up in somebody's basement.
Basketball.
You
I
finna
understand
bro while you
adrenaline
clapping.
kick
Like
in.
you're really finna
And
get
I
right.
do understand adrenaline kick in and everybody get, you know, they get crunk or whatever, but yeah.
Okay, I got a question. Another question. Toughest loss that y'all ever witnessed. It could be AAU, high school. Toughest loss. I think I
Mine
know
was
Miss
high
Ashley's.
school.
Yeah, I think I know Miss
Mine was high
Ashley's.
school against Faith Family. It was definitely high school against Faith Family. That loss was just Ruben was kind of injured. Antoine was coming off the flu. Tuki was like just not a we were really that year not supposed to make it that far because according to everybody in the city, Lakes didn't have nobody. We had Ruben, Antoine, D. Brown, Joe, and who's the other senior? We had another senior, Jordan Pendleton, and
Caden
Jordan.
Rose was on that team too, right?
Yeah, we had Caden, right? We had Caden, and we had you know, that year they looked at our squad and said, "Nah, they ain't got nobody. They be lucky if they win district." You know, so then we kind of went on our little run. We lost a couple of games, not nothing important. And then we made it to the playoffs and we just made it to state, but then we made it to when we made it to state. So what I did notice, and I noticed this with quite a lot of players, when it's time to perform in the big games, they shut down. They don't perform like that. A lot of kids do well when they play kids they know, teams they're familiar with. When they play just regular, you know, regular teams, but when it's time to show up on the big stage, like they don't perform the same or they don't perform at all. So I was kind of hurt because that was our big stage and the main hitters I think just didn't show up. You know, it just like, you know, even with Ruben being injured, I still expected a little bit more from everybody else. And so I was kind of hurt that we had to take that loss. Like that was a devastating loss. That's probably one of the worst ones I ever felt.
Yeah.
I don't really have one, y'all. Let me see. When we played, when PJ that summer that he separated our teams, and we played, and we lost by like a few seconds by one shot, like 3 seconds.
So RJ Hampton.
Yes.
So RJ Hampton team, yeah, that hurt because we were supposed to run that game back again the next day. The split,
and we lost that game
that hurt.
by a couple of seconds. And that boy, whoever that baby was, hit that shot. I was so mad at him. Because
his mama went on my Twitter page.
His
mama went on my Twitter page. You remember that?
They were trying to go through RJ, but that didn't work. So whoever, it was somebody that we were even looking to do it, to knock it down.
Shantae, do you remember? Shantae, do you remember his mama went on my tweet that I had tweeted out? The baby who shot the ball, and she was like, "That was my baby," and I was like, "Don't nobody give a damn about that being your baby." You remember that? Ma'am, this tweet was about Cooz Lee and how y'all didn't want to play us the next day. Again, this was not about your baby. No, I ripped her up and blocked her. Like, don't come on my face trying to tell her baby. Don't nobody care about him. Still don't know his name.
Now I'm gonna know.
We was
No. And then, oh my Lord, that damn, we was in Atlanta, Game 7. PJ said quit cursing, Ash.
I didn't remember
that team in Atlanta when we went to Atlanta and we won all those games. The last
Oh, when
Right.
y'all lost
Yeah.
by one at the buzzer.
Lost by
Oh,
one, right.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
was
was
watching that game.
That hurt my
Yeah.
feelings. That did hurt my feelings. That was very, that was devastating. Thank y'all for reminding me of
Yes.
that.
No, I kind of
Right,
thought you was
man.
gonna
Rob trying to
Shantae.
bring
I
up
thought you was
painful
gonna pick
stuff,
that one,
man.
and I knew what Miss
Yeah,
Ashley was gonna
that was a mess.
Yeah.
say. Okay,
Yeah,
That was
that one hurt.
if y'all could adopt a child from the Cooz Elite team that's not one of y'all, like no Ruben, no Jahari, no DA, which child would you pick and why?
If
If you could like be like, oh, this I'm gonna take him on as my son. He's about to from Cooz Elite, another kid from Cooz Elite.
honestly, I think I would take Elijah Elliott. You wanna know why?
Why? Please tell us.
That boy just stay ranking on me. And I just laugh at him. He talk about me and my fashions. He used to be, Lodge used to always talk about me. But it was funny though. Like I used to think he used to keep me cracking up, laughing. And then because I can't adopt DA, that's my pumpkin pie, precious cheeks, my sugar butt.
Yeah, we apologize.
Yeah, DA, that's not us,
Do
DA.
you remember Ruben told me he don't drink water because it make his back hurt?
Yeah.
I said, Ruben, them your kidneys. He's talking about, I don't know, it make my back hurt. I said, that's the problem. It make his back hurt. But no, outside of all of them, Lodge used to keep me laughing. He did. He's like, Mission said, what you want them bell bottoms? Look, he used to keep me laughing. He was funny. His personality, it was something else. But it was, I don't know, because they was all so silly. Who else used to crack me up? I don't know, because we stayed in that house in Atlanta. It was like really fun. So we had got an Airbnb, and I really had a good time. Like we had such a good time.
Not me, y'all. Not me.
Ashley
Not
stayed
me.
with us.
I ain't never stay with the kids. I don't never want to be around the kids. I don't ever want to. I just mentally, I have a house full of kids. I'm not going to leave a house full of kids and go to a house full of kids.
Yeah, we was trying to even.
Yeah.
She didn't even
I'm not doing that. I went and got me a whole hotel room. Anytime we was out of town, I'm staying in my own room. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. But the kid that I would adopt, and I think everybody probably know this, would be Antoine. Antoine was like my child. And I didn't have a limit on what I was willing to do for Antoine. And like I love Antoine. Like I genuinely love Antoine, and not just basketball Antoine. I love academic Antoine. I have videos and pictures and stuff in my phone where he just took my phone and done like stupid stuff, or and talked about me. I come in the house, he gonna pull a prank on me. And
They used to play too much. They used to play so much.
Like, and I had a different connection with two more Cooz kids, Adam and Tim. Me and Tim took on like weekly.
Tim was another one.
Yeah, Tim and then Adam, because we connected on a different level too.
I'm just saying, y'all,
Like,
I would adopt all of them if I had enough space to escape them.
like I don't like Jahari, DA, Nate, and Elijah are completely different for me because I don't know, like I'm really close to their parents. So I don't necessarily have to, do anything for those kids. If I want to, it's a complete choice. And the other kids, more so, I have a relationship with them because I saw it was a different relationship than what I have with, those kids who I have relationships with their parents. Another kid that I would adopt, hands down, is D Brown. That's my other child. So Tukey and
Now that was my bodyguard. Now this
Retarded.
play.
That boy there.
Still play. No, I love, yes, D Brown definitely.
So
yeah.
going
So
full circle, we talked about how involved y'all was in the recruiting. So this is a year later. How do y'all feel after the first year of them being away in college?
so I I was told that once basketball season started, Ruben wouldn't talk to me anymore. The calls get less. I wouldn't hear from him. He wouldn't want to come home as much. None of that has changed. Me and Ruben FaceTime each other every day, sometimes several times a day. Um, my relationship with the coaches is still the same. I get to call them as much as I want to. Text, email, not email, text or call. Even if they're in a meeting or they busy, they'll call me back. It's now to the point to where like their wives, their mothers know me now. I thought I was gonna kind of lose my parent vibe in once I went to college, but literally Ruben had teammates that would ask like, "Are your parents coming to the game? Are your parents coming to the game? They can have my ticket so your parents can come." Just so I feel like I'm still in the same sense of community with basketball and with my basketball family, which is good for me because I am involved. I love being able to just shoot to them whenever I want to, and I love the hands-on with the coaches, and actually made some relationships with the other kids' parents as well as some of the players. So for me, nothing has changed. I feel like I'm just in a different level of high school. So it's the same for me. Like I didn't expect Ruben to basketball wise, I didn't expect Ruben to play as much as he did. I was really surprised by that. I knew that he was going to play because the coaches had reiterated that like a lot of times, like he's gonna play, he's gonna play. Initially it was like I got a phone call in July that said, well, he's gonna touch the court a minute or two. And then in August it was like, well, he's gonna play 5 minutes. And then like maybe the first week in September, it was like, okay, he probably gonna get about 9 minutes. And then maybe 2 weeks into September, they was like, nah, he gonna play for real. So to me, it showed that he was progressing and that he was getting better, which is something that I always ask the coach, like, what do I need to? So the role that I took this year with Ruben was talking to the coaches was, what do I need to I don't need to direct him. Like, what do y'all want him to do more of that you think is not translating for you? And maybe as a parent, I need to talk to him about. And then another reason why I talk to coaches is because we were in COVID. They spent a lot of time in isolation, not going to classes, doing everything online, only being with the basketball team. So I was really in tune with the coaches, like, hey, if you see something different in his behavior, let me know. And those are conversations that I would have with Ruben, like, hey, how you doing? Like, do you need me to come to dinner? Do you need to come home for a weekend? Like, what we doing just to mentally keep him where he needed to be, because they spent a lot of time in isolation because of COVID, and they didn't really go anywhere. Food was DoorDash delivered to them. All the meals was like prepared in one section. This cafeteria closed, you can only go to this one. And it was just really weird. So I was more concerned about the mental health part and then trying to make sure I just kept him on course. That's probably why we FaceTime that much and talk that much, just to like, I'm here if you need me. Because it was even difficult for me as a parent, just trying to navigate him through that isolation periods, those long isolation periods.
Well, for me, it was COVID, of course, interfered with a lot. Because, I had my flights ready, and Big East was like, no fans. If y'all saw that on, but the good thing about it was that I didn't miss the game because they were all on Fox. So that was actually very good. I felt like I was able to, even though I was yelling at the television in the house by myself, at the commentators. I don't like these commentators. Y'all should have told me. That's what y'all should have prepared me for.
That is what they should have
prepared for the commentators. But no, the only thing is nothing has changed. Because believe it or not, Jahari was never clingy. So I didn't have to get used to somebody he's not clingy. He didn't want to, we were never up under each other all the time anyway. Even though he's the only child, we just didn't do that. He'd come home, he's upstairs, I'm downstairs. Or, we talk, we do basketball and stuff like that. We talk about whatever we need to talk about, but he's just not a clingy child. So that's why I didn't have a problem with him actually going to New Jersey. And so we FaceTime every day, like maybe 2 or 3 times a day. And then now that Snowfall had their finale, I don't know what else we got to see what else we gonna talk about. Like today we talked for a long time about Snowfall. We do our own recap about what we think gonna happen the next week. So, and then, but no, either if we're talking about it's great. I mean, we just FaceTime every day. So it doesn't feel different for me. The only difference is I'm not in the gym a lot. And that's the only difference. And then with the way COVID hit us, I haven't had a chance to because this is supposed to be my turn up summer. Let me just let y'all know. I was supposed to have a good time. Then here come COVID. And COVID was like, no, ma'am. Sit down, have a seat. So it hasn't been different for me at all because he wasn't, I don't know, he wasn't problematic, nor was he he didn't need to be tended to so much. If I was in his business or tending, it's because I was bothering him. Like, he didn't require much, so it hasn't changed much. If you could FaceTime stuff, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
DoorDash, Instacart, those have become my best friends. Because he gets his groceries delivered and all that stuff. And then the gym is right across the street from the building, so
Okay.
it's really easy.
No, that's really good because a lot of people I talk to their kids don't talk to them. So that's good that y'all kids are willing to, continue to communicate, call y'all every day. That's really big.
What, like a lot of the parents, kids don't want to talk to them every day or something?
Well, no, I just think that their parents do want to talk to their kids, but a lot of times the kids just be like, they don't
I'm
call them,
busy.
don't text them. Yep.
A lot of people told me that. A lot of people told me that.
Whether they call me or I call them, when I call him, it doesn't matter. The phone call is gonna happen.
Right.
So
if I don't call,
who does the call?
Yeah.
Like I don't wait for
the same thing with us.
The phone call is gonna happen.
If I don't,
and it's cheap to fly to New
yeah,
York.
same thing with us.
I know right now. He thinks he's far. He's not far. So yeah.
Did y'all cry when y'all took them to college and left? And
I was so excited. I was so happy. I was so elated because he was going to go start a new chapter in his life. Like everybody was waiting for me to cry, and I'm like, cry for what? Like I have older kids that have moved out from home, so no, I'm one step closer to getting my house empty. No, I'm not crying, but I was more so excited because it was it was another phase in his life that I was getting to witness him do. So I was more excited and happy, and I didn't cry. Like
go prepared to be young men versus like, oh my God, my baby's leaving the house. But I can say that I was really sad because of the way that I had to drop him off. Because like Ash was able to, they were able to go into the rooms, and Texas was a red COVID state by then.
Mm-hmm.
So when we went to New Jersey, they didn't even want me there. Like they didn't have COVID or something. But anyway, so I had to now I had a whole nother sanitized apartment complex where I had to drop him. He had to stay there 2 weeks before he went to his apartment. So I didn't even get to do that whole where you take your kids and you decorate or help them get everything. We bought everything, but we had to sit it. They wouldn't even let us in the building that they had sanitized. It was like, so the coaches all met me there, and we were literally sitting Jahari's new television, laundry baskets, everything right out in the front. They were helping them carry everything up. Like we could not go in. So I didn't get to eat that part of it. So now that it has let up a little, I mean, COVID hasn't gone anywhere, but now that the restrictions have let up a little, like when he comes back in May and then goes back in June, I'll be going, to get, because I know that apartment is not, I know it's not right. It's not right. So when he FaceTime me, he be all on it like this. Like, so I can't see around.
Yeah, he don't want you to see what's going on.
And then as soon as he took that phone, I mean, what's that on that floor? What are those boxes? What is this? Why is your water in the living room? Like a case of water in the living room? What is that? So I didn't get to do that. So I'm going to do that.
Okay.
We are doing that.
As y'all can see, Rob has a long way to go. He has a young baby.
PGW.
Yeah.
It's all right.
It's okay. It's okay. It's a journey, but I wouldn't trade any of it. Good, the bad. I had some bad AU experiences. I was blessed with some good ones. I wouldn't trade it all in for anything. That I think that even helped me evolve as a woman to, what I am and who I am today. So I cherish all those experiences and all the people I met along the way. It's all just been a blessing.
She was a mess until she met me.
It has all been a blessing, except for me and Shantae. But it's all been a blessing. It's been a roller coaster, but like I said, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like those experiences have been they've been great. Like it even helped mold our kids to who they are, And the one thing parents, they always need to understand that there's levels to all of this. Shantae was the person that taught me that, like a long time ago. She was like, it's levels. When you realize what level you're on and what level you need to be at, you'll respect your level more and you'll work for your level. You'll learn how to be, your kid will learn how to be a superstar at that level. Your kid will learn your level might not be my level not your level. And that's understandable. And we both playing on the same team, side by side, getting the same write-ups, the same everything. But it's still levels. And that's what a lot of parents don't.
And I'm going to tell parents, just do not, once again, I can't tell anyone what to do with their kids. But I'm going to, I don't like to see parents go above and beyond to try to get their kids the recognition that they feel like they may need. Like that's whether you got to step on another kid or whether you have to talk down on another kid or any of that, because when you do that, nothing good will come to you, because I've seen it. And secondly, just kind of like mind your own kid business. You know what I'm saying? Don't worrying about the next child will be the downfall. And I'm still seeing it as a downfall. Like sometimes I don't be on Twitter as much, honestly, because I get tired of seeing all this basketball. Like how this kid ain't better than this kid, you know, all that kind of stuff. I get kind of tired of seeing that stuff. But I would just say focus on your own kid and don't pay nobody for no ranking. Don't be extra
Please
smiley, so safe. Don't talk down on another kid to the coach because they're more into that kid than they are into your kid. Because there's a place for all of these kids. You know,
right.
whether you want to be on this, I mean, you can only talk so much. Your child's still gonna have to perform.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can talk your way to this big old school, but once they get there, shit, they transfer. You know what I mean? Because it's just not worth it. And I think investing in your kids, do not chase them circuits. Don't do it. I'm not saying don't play on a circuit. I'm not saying a circuit is not good. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying don't chase it. Don't let it be. If they're playing against great competition, then that's all you really need to care about. Because that's going to help them get better. Like don't duck, you know, don't run from it. And then that's just going to help them get better. But don't make that be your motivation behind everything.
And Miss Chantel, I just want to. I'm sorry. I didn't. I'm delayed. I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize. But I just wanted to give a disclaimer because we do the disclaimer things now. So I want everybody to understand that her child and Miss Ashley's child could have and was capable of playing on the circuit, because I don't want nobody to be like, oh, she only telling them not to chase the circuit because her child wasn't good enough to get on the circuit.
Oh, okay. Well, let me say.
No.
So we just give out disclaimers.
We did not have an issue with that.
Yeah.
They could have definitely played on the circuit.
Welcoming us to certain things that we didn't ask to do.
Yeah, we have.
I don't know my address, but we did. And I was like, so no.
Came from a job trying to get me to play on the circuit. So
an option. It was
the circuit was real,
not a problem.
Yeah,
we were offered the tennis shoes, the backpacks, the free travel and everything. It was a decision that we made to stay with Cooz Elite. And it was definitely, for me, the main reason was the foundation. That was the main reason for me. We were very unorganized. We didn't know. Y'all think that stuff we tweet, that's the truth. TJ would call us.
That's the honest truth.
We got to be in Dallas in 2 hours. And we were like, I mean, that was just how that was. Very dysfunctional, but that's how we functioned. Like that was, so it's not going to be, it is not going to be perfect. I'm sorry, it's just not. No matter what, and you're going to spend some money. Because when your child call you and tell you, you said, I thought they was feeding you. I mean, well, we had a hamburger this morning at 10 for breakfast, and it's 5, and y'all got one Gatorade. You trying to listen to your child, you know what I mean, and make sure that they can perform. You know, they get it confused with spoiling your kid versus that ain't even healthy to get out there and run up and down the court like that. You know what I mean? That ain't even good for their bodies. It's not about them being men, and it's not even good for their bodies to even do that. So yeah, the circuit was definitely an option. The circuit was an option. It was not, and we did turn it down. Not trying to say we all that, but we did say no, and that we wanted to stay with Cooz Elite. And another thing was what we were told, because I was told by someone, I think our freshman year, that he wasn't going to get any offers if he would have played Cooz Elite. They're like, he ain't going to get nothing.
I was told that too. Yeah,
like,
I was told.
And then they said, you'll be lucky if y'all gonna be playing, and y'all go to Vegas, y'all gonna be playing in the back of the gym. I guess that back of the gym thing is the thing. And we did. And And Doug was tweeting about the high major coaches that were right there in the back of the gym with him.
We played in the back of the gym in Las Vegas with 100 coaches in the gym. So, and it was a big court. The main court had like 3 college coaches there, but squeezed into our back gym on the sidelines next to the parents because it was that many coaches, us, and coaches. So, yeah, we played.
Actually followed. So, my thing is just do what. Honestly, don't let that be your decision making. Don't let that drive your decision making process. Now, the exposure is wonderful. It is, but you can get the exposure if you play well enough. You'll get it. You don't have to do all that, and it's not as free as it sounds.
Right.
My son is not sleeping in a twin bed with another 6'5".
Yeah.
She said a twin bed. Oh my God.
Eric has another 6'5". They all on this pallet, while the people that got the checks sleeping in bed. We ain't doing that.
Right. I agree with that.
Man, I mean, y'all have really been on a journey. I mean, I talked to PJ, and I've been thinking like the last. I mean, obviously, of course, before independent team back in the day, who name we would not say, he probably had that, but in my memory over the last 15 to 17 years that I've been around watching, I think that was probably the most successful independent AAU team, like they stayed together all the way from 9th grade to completion and just where they went. I might get killed for that, but that's what I think. I know you would.
Who gonna kill you?
Oh no, we got haters and trollers and
they just gonna say what they want to say regardless.
Oh no,
they
we
gonna
love
say
it
what
though.
they want to say.
Yeah.
You know,
we love it.
No.
We love it, Miss Ashley. We take it all in
They
stride.
talked about Jesus, okay?
Oh yeah.
So we ain't worried about them.
Of course.
I had to do it.
They kiss my ass. But
yeah, I think we so it wasn't easy to even stay together because
let me tell y'all, because we weren't perfect. It was also the bad talk that made people want to come see what all the talk was about. So you know how sometimes I can say bad news and also be good news. So it was also the bad as well. So that so sometimes you have to be grateful for that as well. You know, the people that have mess up, because people want to see what the talk is about. And it really wasn't nothing going on. We were just
like
playing
the narrative. One of the strongest narrative was Ruben, Jahari, and DA could not play on a team together. Why would you load guard that team? Antoine.
It was like
Elijah Elliott. Why would you guard load that team like that? But that was even before DJ came. We didn't have a big. Our bigs was football players that was leaving. Like Quincy and Martin them, and they was playing football. So we technically didn't have a big. So yeah, our guards. We needed our guards, and all our guards could handle the ball.
Really so that's guard. Really, we were playing against these top big old kids.
I remember one time Eddie came after a game. Eddie Lampkin came after a game and said, "Man, Miss Ashley, I hate when Ruben in the 5, man. He beat me up." I'm like, you tower over him, but it's the fact that when it's 5 guards on the floor, you just get in and play when you gonna play it. You know, so I know I might not be about rebounding, but I'm getting a couple of flip shots and make him think about jumping up there every time. So the kids learn how to adapt wherever they were needed on the court. So that was a unique thing that made some of them more positionless, and being able to play ball. So and it also that helped Ruben a lot with acquiring a lot of different skills. Like even in college, he's defended the 4. So that's why he played so much, because he's just not stuck in one position on offense and defense. Kind of moving around.
position. They can defend
Yeah.
any position.
Right. And that's one thing PJ worked a lot on was defense. Like if we keep stealing the ball, ripping the ball, we get the ball back, and we play good defense, then that's more opportunities to score. Whether y'all scoring or not, y'all off, guess what? We got to keep stealing to be able to go back down there and try it again. So defensively, we just always were strong defensively. Offensively, we have a game where 3 people scored 9 points or 8 points, or everybody on the team scored 5 points, but we won because defensively, that's just how it worked.
And
We went last week.
That parents, when your kids get to college, make sure they're communicating and emailing their professors all the time and their academic coordinators, because they be messing those grades up. They do.
Yeah, it's a little worse than high school on that. Yes, it's worse than high school.
It's worse than high school. Yes.
Yeah, it's worse than high school with your grades.
Yeah, and then I guess they'll be like, "Oh, I didn't see it." What do you mean?
Right.
I was like, send a receipt, send a screenshot, do something. Like, make sure that communication is like, when they get to college, it's everything. It is everything, because there's always a misunderstanding. So communication is everything. Like, if there's one thing that they don't understand, just reach out to those academic coordinators, and they're gonna that's like important for their grade on so many levels, because there's so much going on. Like, until they get acclimated, they can miss an assignment or anything. It's always important just to make sure you have everything turned in. Like, by midterm, send an email, you know what I'm saying? And be like, am I missing anything? Because I'm telling you, they forget.
We was at in Indy doing midterms.
Oh yeah.
So when all the boys made it back, they had to email all the professors to reopen all the assignments for them that came back, because they limited what they could take, because they literally left their tournament, which was in Frisco, that day, and they didn't have to go. They didn't let them go back to their dorms, get more clothes or anything. They flew from their tournament straight to Indy. So all the clothes they had packed was all the clothes that they had. No additional luggage. No additional clothing, no nothing. So laptop, Ruben didn't take his laptop because he under the impression we win the tournament, I'm going back to my dorm. We win, we're around the corner from the school, so we don't go back. No. They flew them immediately.
Like a purse. If they forget.
Yeah, the laptop is like they wallet.
And those are like my if they do that, they can succeed academically. But you got to be willing to bust that laptop open at any given time, wherever you are.
On the fly, wherever you at, you doing work. Just 24/7.
And get it done. But it's and sleep when they can, because
sleep when they can.
During the season, just sleep when they can. And
wherever they have.
Yep. Well, man, we would like to thank y'all for all the nuggets that y'all dropped, everything that y'all have said. Hopefully it really does help someone. And maybe we don't know who's going through what in life, and so maybe the things that you said are kind of going to offer them comfort. With them having kids going away to college, even if it's not for basketball purposes. But just the fact that stay on top of your grades.
That communication is everything.
Yeah, all those things, man. So we truly do appreciate that. But before we let y'all go, Miss Shantae, who's your camera guy now? I remember tomorrow you used to have to take all your pictures.
Oh, listen, COVID came right on time. Because let me tell you, so COVID came right on time because I started working from home. Ever since it hit, my job was immediately like, oh, y'all can't come back up here no more. So luckily, I had not had to get, that cute in the morning. I don't know what I'm going to do. This is like, I'm stressed out. Like trying to do these selfies in these mirrors, you got your arm over here, and you trying not to put your arm in it, and you like, it's rough on you in these streets. I'm telling you, it's rough out in these selfie streets. Jahari told me the other day when he came home because he went back that he was that's why he was out of the house. He was glad he was out of the house. He didn't have to take it.
Yeah, but before he had left, I had talked to him. I said, "Man, now what's the one thing that you're not gonna miss?" He said, "Not having to take one of my pictures all the time."
Okay, that was a part of the exit. I used to be here. Take I pay the bills. Do what I say. So you tell your kids you pay the bills. I pay the bills. Do what I say. Take my picture. The world needs to know what's going on. I used to say anything. Yeah, so I haven't had anything. So now I've just been, I don't know, posting anything about Derek, whatever that man is that's found guilty. One down, 737,000 more to go.
1,000. Rob, you got any final words?
I was listening to, I think I was talking to you about this before we came on air really quickly. I was listening to Drink Champs, and I was listening to my boy James Prince, you know what I'm saying? And he said something very profound. He said you get two things every day when you wake up, and that's chances and choices. And he said, don't let your choices mess up your chances. So I just wanted to drop that little nugget on everybody because that stuck in my mind. So now I'm gonna be going to tell my kids that. So.
Right, we need to tweet that.
Yeah.
I've always told my kids that, like, you're gonna limit your opportunities by making bad choices. So I always tell them, don't do something so drastic that we can't repair it or come from it. So I'm really big on that. Like, just don't mess it up to where we can't fix it. You know, and I just agree with that.
They don't listen, they still listen.
Yeah, some of them get it. Some of them get it a little more than others, and some of them just, I'm still gonna do it just because I'm gonna do it, you know.
Kids nothing. They don't listen. I think they know it all.
No, they do. But we appreciate you guys.
Yes, thank y'all. Thank y'all.
See y'all next time.
Bye, guys.